Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Easy English podcast. I'm Hannah, and as always, I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Alex.
Hey there, Hannah, and a huge welcome to all of our listeners joining us from around the world today. I am really excited about our topic today.
Me too, Alex. Today, we are talking about something we all love, food. But specifically, we are talking about a situation that can be surprisingly scary when you are learning a new language. We are talking about customizing your food and drink orders.
Oh yes, customizing. That means changing a menu item to make it exactly how you want it. For example, asking for no onions on your burger or asking for almond milk in your coffee. It sounds simple, but it can actually feel really intimidating, can't it?
Absolutely. It is so stressful. Have you ever had that feeling, Alex, where you go into a busy cafe, you see a long line of people behind you, and your heart starts beating fast because you want to ask for a small change to your drink, but you're afraid the barista won't understand you?
Oh, definitely. Even in your native language, it can feel a little tense if the cafe is busy. But in a second language, it is terrifying. You think to yourself, if I ask for oat milk instead of regular milk, will I ruin the flow? Will the barista roll their eyes at me? What if I say the wrong word and end up with a cup of hot water instead of a latte?
Exactly. It's that pressure of the fast-paced environment. Cafes and restaurants, especially during lunch or morning rush hours, move so quickly. The staff are speaking super fast, using slang, and you feel like you only have 5 seconds to order. So, what do many English learners do? They just order the first thing they see on the menu, even if they don't really want it, just to avoid the stress of customizing.
Guilty. I have definitely done that when traveling. I just point out a picture and say, that one please, because I am too scared to ask for no mayonnaise. Then I spend the whole lunch scraping mayonnaise off my sandwich with a plastic knife. It's not a great experience.
Exactly. And you are paying your hard-earned money for that food. You deserve to get what you actually want to eat and drink. That is why we are doing this episode. We want to give you the exact words, the right phrases, and the confidence to walk into any cafe or restaurant and say exactly how you want your food prepared.
I love that. Today, we want to break down that wall of fear. Let's start by looking at why it feels so scary. One big reason is vocabulary. We might know the word for milk or sugar, but do we know the verbs we need to connect them? Words like substitute, hold, or on the side.
Ooh, those are excellent words, Alex. Let's keep those in mind because we are going to explain all of them today. Another reason it's scary is just the fear of being difficult. A lot of learners tell me, Hannah, I don't want to be a troublemaker. I don't want to make the waiter's life hard. But here's a little secret. In English-speaking countries, especially in places like the US, Canada, and the UK, customizing is completely normal.
That is a really important point, Hannah. It is incredibly common. Restaurants actually expect customers to customize their orders. Waitstaff are used to hearing things like, "Can I get this, but with that instead?" It is not considered rude at all as long as you ask politely.
Precisely. Polite words are your golden ticket. It all comes down to how you ask. But let's start with drinks, because getting your morning coffee or afternoon tea exactly how you like it is a great way to practice. Let's imagine you are standing in a busy cafe and you want to order an iced latte. But you don't drink dairy milk and you really hate it when they put too much ice in the cup because it waters down the flavor. Alex, how do we tackle this?
The classic iced latte dilemma. There are 3 things to customize here: the type of milk, the sweetness, and the ice. Let's start with the milk. Nowadays, almost every cafe has milk alternatives. We often call these plant-based milks or non-dairy milks. The most common ones are oat milk, almond milk, and soy milk.
And to ask for these, we use a wonderful verb you mentioned earlier, substitute, or even simpler, instead of. For example, you can say, "Can I get an iced latte with oat milk instead of whole milk?" Or if you want to sound a bit more formal, could I substitute whole milk for almond milk?
Exactly. And a very common casual way is just to use the word with. You can say, "Can I get a large latte with soy milk, please?" Usually, the barista will understand that the soy milk replaces the regular milk. But wait, Hannah, there's often an extra charge for these milks, right?
Yes, that is a good thing to keep in mind. The barista might say, "Is oat milk okay? It is 50 cents extra." You can just say, "Yes, that's fine," or "No problem." Now, what about the ice, Alex? How do we control the amount of ice in our drink?
This is my favorite one because I hate it when my cup is 90% ice and only 10% coffee. The magic phrase here is light ice. If you want just a little bit of ice, you say, "Can I get that with light ice, please?" It's short, simple, and every barista knows exactly what it means.
Light ice is perfect. On the other hand, if you love cold drinks and want a lot of ice, you can ask for extra ice. So, putting those two things together, you could say, "Can I get an iced latte with oat milk and light ice?" See, you are already customizing like a pro.
It sounds so natural when you say it like that. Now, let's talk about the third element, sweetness. Many specialty drinks, like iced teas, matchas, or flavored lattes, come with sweet syrups already inside them. But sometimes they are just too sweet.
Oh, definitely. Some of those drinks taste like pure liquid sugar. If you want to make it less sweet, you can ask for half sweet. For example, "Can I get a caramel macchiato but make it half sweet?" This tells the barista to use only half the amount of syrup they usually use.
That is a brilliant tip. You can also specify the number of pumps. Syrup in cafes usually comes from a bottle with a pump. So you could say, "Can I get an iced coffee with just 1 pump of vanilla syrup?" That way you know exactly how much sugar you are getting.
I use the pumps phrase all the time. It gives you total control. What if you don't want any sugar or syrup at all, but the default recipe has it?
In that case, you can use the word unsweetened. You can say, "I'll have an unsweetened iced green tea, please." Or you can use another very useful phrase, "no sugar." You can say, "Can I get an iced latte with no sugar?" It is direct and very easy to understand.
Yes, don't worry about sounding too simple. No sugar or no syrup works perfectly. Now let's practice putting all of this together into one complete order. I will be the barista, and Alex, you are the customer who wants a cold, dairy-free, slightly sweet coffee. Ready?
I am ready. Let's do it.
Welcome to Coffee Cup. What can I get started for you today?
Hi, can I get a large iced latte with oat milk, please? And could you make that half sweet?
Sure thing. An iced oat milk latte, half sweet. Anything else for you?
That is all, thank you.
Perfect. See, that was so natural and easy. You got the size, the temperature, the dairy alternative, and the sweetness level all in one go. You are an expert customer, Alex.
Thank you, Hannah. It really is about putting those pieces together like a puzzle. Now, what if we move from the coffee shop to a restaurant? Ordering food can sometimes feel even more complicated because there are so many ingredients on a plate.
Oh, absolutely. Have you ever ordered a salad and it arrived completely swimming in dressing? It ruins the whole meal. That brings us to our next essential phrase, on the side.
On the side is a lifesaver. It means you want the ingredient, usually a sauce, dressing, or gravy, served in a separate small bowl or cup, not poured all over your food. For example, you can say, "Can I get the Caesar salad with the dressing on the side?"
Yes! That way, you can add exactly how much dressing you want. You can also use this for other things, like fries. If you like dipping your fries but don't want them to get soggy, you can ask for sauce on the side or even gravy on the side.
That is so true. I hate soggy fries. Another great phrase for changing a food order is hold the. This is a very common, slightly informal way to say, "Do not include this ingredient."
Exactly. Hold the means remove it or leave it off. For instance, if you are ordering a burger but you absolutely hate raw onions, you can say, "Can I get a cheeseburger? Hold the onions."
It is quick, and servers understand it instantly.
I use that one a lot because I really dislike tomatoes in my sandwiches. I always say, I'll have the turkey club sandwich, please, but hold the tomatoes. It sounds very natural. You can also say no tomatoes, which is also completely fine, but hold the tomatoes sounds a bit more like a native speaker.
It really does. Now, let's talk about swapping one ingredient for another. Sometimes you don't just want to remove something, you want to replace it. In English, we use the word substitute, or the shorter version, sub.
Yes, sub is incredibly common in restaurants. It is short for substitution. For example, if a meal comes with French fries, but you want to be a bit healthier, you can ask, "Can I sub the fries for a side salad?"
Perfect example. You can also use the phrase instead of. It means the exact same thing. You could say, "Can I get a side salad instead of fries?" Both sub and instead of are perfect for changing your side dishes.
And we should mention that sometimes restaurants charge a little bit of extra money for substitutions. This is especially true if you are swapping something basic for something premium. So you might hear the server say, "Sure, but there is a $1 upcharge for the salad." Upcharge just means an extra fee.
That is a very good point to keep in mind. Don't be surprised if the bill is slightly higher when you customize your meal. Let's do a quick practice with this. Imagine you are at a diner ordering breakfast. Breakfast menus are famous for customizations.
Oh, definitely. Breakfast is the ultimate customization meal. You have eggs, meats, toast, potatoes, so many choices.
All right, I will be your server today. Let's see how you customize your breakfast. Hi there, what can I get for you today?
Hello, I would love the classic breakfast combo with scrambled eggs, bacon, and white toast. But actually, can I sub the white toast for whole wheat? And could I get the bacon extra crispy, please?
Excellent choices. And yes, we can absolutely make that bacon extra crispy for you. Whole wheat toast is a great substitution. See how easy that was? Alex used sub and then added a specific detail about how he wanted his food cooked, extra crispy. This is a very common way to get exactly what you want.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to ask for how you want your food cooked. You can ask for eggs scrambled, fried, or even sunny side up. And with meat like steak, you can ask for it medium or well done. It is all about using those key descriptive words.
Perfect. Now, let's move on to our next big topic. What happens when your food arrives, but it is not what you ordered? This can be really awkward for a lot of English learners because they don't want to seem rude.
Oh, absolutely. I think even native speakers sometimes feel shy about correcting a wrong order. You don't want to complain or make the server feel bad. But remember, you are paying for your meal. You have every right to get what you actually ordered.
Yes, and the key here is politeness. You do not need to be angry. You can use a very soft, friendly voice and start with a polite opener, like, "Excuse me, I think there might be a mistake."
That is a beautiful phrase. I think there might be a mistake is very gentle. It doesn't blame the server directly. It just points out the situation.
Another great option is to say, "I'm sorry, but I actually ordered," and then state your original order. For example, "I'm sorry, but I actually ordered the chicken, not the beef." It is clear, direct, and very polite.
And what if you ask for a substitution, but they forgot it? Let's say you ask for no onions, but your burger arrives with onions.
In that case, you can say, "Excuse me, I think I asked for this without onions," or "Is it possible to get this without onions? I think there was a mix-up." A mix-up is just another friendly word for a mistake or confusion.
I love that word mix-up. It sounds so casual and friendly. Oh, there must have been a mix-up in the kitchen. It takes the pressure off the server completely.
Let's do a quick role play to show how this works in real life. I will bring you the wrong dish, and you try to correct me using these phrases. Ready?
I am ready. Let's do it.
Here is your cheeseburger with extra onions and a side of fries. Enjoy your meal.
Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry to bother you, but I think there might be a small mistake. I actually ordered the cheeseburger with no onions and a side salad instead of fries.
Oh my goodness, I am so sorry about that. You are completely right. Let me take this back to the kitchen and get the correct order out for you right away.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. See? That was so simple and nobody got upset. The server was happy to fix it, and I am going to get the delicious food I actually wanted.
Exactly. Most restaurant staff want you to enjoy your meal. They prefer that you tell them about a mistake so they can fix it, rather than you leaving unhappy.
That is so true. Well, Hannah, we have covered a lot today. We talked about how to customize drinks with milk and sweetness levels, how to swap side dishes using sub and instead of, and how to politely correct a mistake if your order is wrong.
We sure did. I hope our listeners feel much more confident the next time they walk into a cafe or restaurant. Practice these phrases next time you order. It makes a huge difference.
It definitely does. Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of the Easy English Podcast. We love having you here with us. Until next time, happy eating and goodbye.